Everybody remembers their first job, even if they would rather forget it, the uniform, your loud manager, or the smell of a break room that people abused. Those early jobs taught us how to deal with customers, coworkers, pressure, and the strange realization that making money usually involves doing something you would not voluntarily do for free. Isn't that weird? Today, we are looking back at our first jobs, what they taught us, and which lessons still shape how we think about work and local business. So we're going to do it a little bit differently. We're going to describe our first jobs, and we're going to see if the other hosts can extrapolate the lessons that they think that we learned.
Or the lessons we think you should have learned because you may not have.
We should have learned.
You might just be making the same mistake over and over again.
For sure. I'll start. So I'm going to use this one. My first job was I worked at Sonic, but
did you have roller skates?
No, I wasn't able to do that.
So that was the first lesson. Take advantage of every opportunity.
Of the skates. I would have died, and I don't really count it because it was a weird situation. I remember my supervisor, that was the first time he taught.
Wait, how old were you?
Oh, high school, 16, 17.
Okay.
But I remember that was the first time that I learned about people stealing from work, about, stealing from the cash register. And it taught,
coworkers or customers?
Coworkers.
Would have been coworkers.
Yeah. No, they would come in with ski masks and they would yell at us and we'd all get on the ground. No, the coworkers would steal, and it was what it was.
Didn't they get caught immediately?
No.
I guess they knew that they had been stolen from, but they might not have known who did it.
No, it was a pocket. It was you fill in the cash register, you take the cash, and then you delete the thing. So they could tell that the food had disappeared, but there was no record of the transaction in the register. So it was just like, oh, our food costs are astronomical. But I never did that.
We wonder why businesses don't take cash anymore.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I never did that. And I don't even count I'm not even going to count my security guard job or my...
we got to go back to Sonic. I'm fascinated by Sonic. So summer job or while you were in school job after school?
It was... When I first started driving, I had to pay for everything. So I had to pay for gas and insurance and all this stuff. And yet, I had responsibilities. Like I had to give, my sister a ride and pick people up and get groceries. So I did it every summer and some of the year until I discovered drama. And then I had to stop doing it because
to be fair, I think you knew drama before you discovered drama.
Drama, as in...
You just creating it.
You're creating drama, yeah.
So when did you get your driver's license? Sophomore or junior year?
17, probably junior.
Junior year. You waited until you were 17?
I couldn't afford it otherwise.
You can get the driver's license.
No, you have to pay. You had to either get it when you're 18 or wait. Yeah, I was 18. Wait, what? Wait, so can you get it when you're 18? Or can 16, you get it when you're 17?
Yeah.
You get it when you're 16.
You can get it when you're 16. 16's the law.
I see. So all right. So what happens is you can pay for driver's ed.
Right.
Or you can wait till you're of age.
Correct.
And that's what I did. So whatever that age is, I was working up till then. Does that make sense?
You were working up until you were 18, until you got your driver's license? You have a very confusing life.
I know. It's awful.
I know. We haven't even gotten into the good stuff.
If I started driving at 17, I started working at 16.
Okay.
To save up for...
So you were working at a drive-in without a driver's license?
Yeah.
Okay, that's really where I wanted to get to.
Yeah, then that's...
Okay, so you did that for like a year.
Yeah, about a year in high school. After high school, through college, I was a security guard. And I did...
Where?
At Hewlett-Packard Then it was it was Hewlett Packard before it was Compaq, but
Right. Yeah. Sure.
and
I didn't realize you grew up on the north side of town here.
you sure Spring,
Yeah.
and
I
so
guess I did know that. Because
yeah,
that's where I grew up.
okay, so
Yeah.
we're probably part of the same gangs, and that was a joke for anyone. I'm not in a gang.
Not anymore.
Yeah,
I had the tattoo removed.
yeah, exactly. And I did learn some lessons there. I also did kitting for Hewlett Packard.
Kitten?
Kitting.
Putting
So
kits together.
Okay,
there's
yeah.
a lot of
Assembly line.
Yeah.
electrical components. You put them on a
I
thing.
got
All right. So first job, Sonic.
Yeah.
Did you think that the manager? What did you think of your manager?
He was a surly man, and I didn't like his attitude. I mean, he was a very no nonsense.
Okay.
Just don't talk to me. But he was also an immigrant, and he was not the owner. The owner was an affluent person. And
Okay.
so later on, I respected his work ethic because a lot of my coworkers were friends of the owner's kids.
All right.
And so I'm like, oh, here's this guy who moved here from another country trying his best. And he's
this
just
is his life. And I mean, he's there all the time trying to make it for him, his family, whatever. And it's everything. And there's a bunch of snotty 16-year-olds
stealing. Yeah.
And probably not showing up for work. And
yeah, so exactly. So when I was a kid, I thought, what's this guy's problem?
What was your feeling when you, sorry, James, if you
No, this is great.
because I'm fascinated. So what was your take on, how did you feel about interacting with, did you had to run the food out and stuff? Yes.
I wasn't coordinated. I had to, I worked drive-through and like making drinks and stuff, and I did have to take it out.
Did anybody yell at you? Any customers?
Oh yeah.
And what sorts of things did they yell at you about? And what was your response like?
I mean, at the time I was too scared to like stand up for myself, and I was scared I was going to say the wrong thing. So a lot of times I would kind of freeze and either get a manager or just say, oops, sorry, I'll fix this. And there may have been situations where I screwed up and didn't take payment or something.
This is great. Folks, when the lights come up, we're going to do some improv.
No, we're not. We're not doing that.
All right. So, James, I think we've got a lot there.
Yeah.
But this isn't even the job that I
planned on talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this was your first job.
All right,
that's your first real
okay.
job.
All right. It was
One
my
thing
first
stuck
job.
out to me, and it's not a lesson, it's more a lesson for business owners. I have a 16 and a 15-year-old son. And man, if you're hiring 16-year-olds and you have to work with them, that's rough. So I have a lot of respect for this dude that was there.
Yeah.
I mean, I think ultimately your first job, you're really learning responsibility. You know, like you have to show up every day, work through the grind. And I think you got that.
Yeah. Well, it's the first time dealing with stress of that responsibility wise. You say, I am literally in charge of this. I cannot go to my parents. And if I screw up, there are real world consequences. And, you know, some days you have so much stress that you're just walking around with a stomach with a tight stomach. And that was a situation where I realized,
it wasn't the
supersonic cheeseburger with the jalapenos?
No, what are the tater tots?
Tater tots.
Yeah, I can't do their tater tots anymore. I can't do it.
Did you ever have days where you had something planned with your friends, or your friends end up doing something and you had to work, and it's like the worst feeling in the planet? Like, trying to get out of work and you just can't. You know?
That was the security guard job because I worked nights, and during the summer, everyone was like, "Hey, we're going out," and I'm like, "I have to sleep during the day, or else I'll die." But the lesson that I learned, to your point, from Sonic was, you know, they say, if you're scared, do it scared. That's what
Who says that?
Yeah, I've never heard that before.
They're saying, well, I forgot who it is.
Yeah, but that's fine. But I mean, what do you really mean?
What they're saying is, let's say you've got a thing in your career that you need to do, or you've got a task that you know needs to be done, and you say, "Oh, I'm really stressed. I'm really scared about this." That doesn't mean you
don't do it.
Don't do it.
Just push through.
Just do it while you're scared. And when you're a kid, when I was a kid, I couldn't put that together. I go, well, if I'm too scared to do this, I'm not going to do this. And then I realized, no, everyone is kind of dealing with this base level of stress, and you have to do it anyway. So, I mean, that was my introduction to that.
I think when I was younger, I had some ideologies that I'd gotten handed down from my parents and stuff and so forth. And at the time, I thought, oh, everybody should go do military service. I thought it'd be good for pay. Now, there's still part of me that I don't know that we should be in the military, but I think like Germany has a civil service, and I think everybody should. I do think there's something to be.
There's something about people that
serve for your country and serve other people. And maybe not the military, because that's you're going to exotic places and killing people. But I also think everybody should work retail.
Yeah.
Everybody should work retail. Everybody should have the privilege of going to serve unruly customers, people who throw crap on the ground and you have to pick up their crap. And you have to, and you have to be in that situation. And the other thing that I think is so interesting about everything that you're saying here and about the kind of stress that you had, and I think, James, you alluded to it in terms of the responsibility and all that stuff. That's kind of what we talked about in the last episode about experience, or an episode or two ago, about experience versus academic. Like, it's all, every high schooler thinks, oh, working at Sonic, big deal. I don't have to, man, until you do it. And you realize, hey, I have to do this for 8-hour shifts. I have to do this when customers are awful. I have to do all these things when my manager is, ragging on me because it is his life and it's just this side thing for me. That is such a valuable lesson.
It is, and it also, on that note, helps you. You're basically learning how to pay it forward. In terms of, if I am speaking with a fast food employee and I say, hi, can I get a chicken sandwich? And go, we don't have that. My instinct might be to say, well, you're being really rude. But the fact is, they probably absorbed a lot of abuse. So sometimes if your waiter forgot something, if your server forgets something, sometimes the right thing to do is to be chill with them.
We had that experience. You and I were at lunch, and the waiter came. You ordered something, like a pie or something, and the waiter was like, "Okay, we can get you the pie. We don't. You can't do this, or you can't have that, or oh no. It was the story you told about the all-you-can-eat plate, and to-go boxes were $24.
Yeah,
and you and the waiter was like, yeah, okay, it's all you can eat, whatever you want to do. The all you can eat is $17.95. If you want to go plate, it's $24. And they were really harsh about it. Because everybody's awful.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's why you have to work retail.
To clarify, what Eric was thinking of is, we did, after a work thing, go to a restaurant and have pie, but that server was lovely. Shout out to that server.
Yes, and if House of Pies would like us to do the podcast for pie,
I am there.
Yes.
We'll move on, but the only other job that taught me anything.
No, this is first jobs. Not here's my career.
All right, so we'll do another episode on that.
What's one thing that you learned at Sonic that you do in your work today?
So long ago, streamlining. Trying to streamline things. So we used to make something that was called the Junior Banana Split. That was terrible, and it was because you do a banana split and you have a banana, and then you cut it open and you put stuff in there. Well, Junior Banana Split, you had to cut a banana in thirds, and it was hard to fiddle with the knife, and because it was a little paring knife, I guess, for safety, and they made these things like 99 cents. So people would come in and they was like, can I get 10 Junior Banana Splits? And you would say, just get one banana split and it would save me time. So there were, you independently can come up. I came up with time saving things of saying, I'm going to line up these bananas and I'm going to cut them like that. Or I'm going to do this and save a portion of this for later. So I would say what's the phrase about lazy people being the most innovative? But you
have a lot of phrases that I did not grow up with.
what is it? I forgot what it is, but basically it's
Stitch in
saying
time saves 9.
maybe let's say that finding ways to streamline things. Now
we're not in the same gang.
I'm not I'm not cutting bananas anymore, but I do whenever I can find a way to make something a process or to streamline it, then I go for that.
Think back to the mini banana split.
I think back to those banana splits and I'm like, no, never again.
Like I gotta get innovative here.
It makes so much more sense because a lot of times the meetings we'll be talking, James will be going on, and Roger's like, "I'm going to split," and we're like, "What do you?
Why did you say that?
Why did you? That doesn't even make sense." Oh, look, he has something really innovative, and he's really streamlining things.
All right,
it all clicks now.
James,
all right.
What about yours?
No, I have to hear Eric's. I'm fascinated because you want to make a bet he did not have a normal first job.
There's no way.
No way. We're gonna be disappointed.
Oh yeah, totally disappointed. So the first thing that I got paid for was I mowed Mrs. Denker's lawn every week. I don't know that I
that
call
doesn't
that a job.
count.
I don't call that a job.
You didn't have to.
But I did have to pull the lawnmower behind me on my bike.
Oh,
and
wow.
so because she was a few blocks down, and she was this little old lady, and I mean little, like, because I was probably 12 or 13 at the time, and she was shorter than I was, and Denker, very German. And so I mowed her yard with a buddy. We had this plan, and it was $10 a week, which in, I don't know, 82 or something was good money.
You can buy more than a soda.
Yeah, for sure. And my friend was not a very good friend, and he, like, after the first day, he stopped showing up when we needed to mow. So I was like, fine, I'll keep $10. I don't care. And then his mom came by one time and she's like, you're mowing without Steven and I said, well, Mrs. Denker asked me to get the lawn done on Thursday or whatever. And she's like, well, why didn't you just tell her that you were going to wait until Saturday for it? I said, because the customer's always right. I was really obnoxious.
Whoa. But you're kind of, come on.
And I was like, the guy wasn't showing up. He did later have drug problems and so forth. So I felt bad, but I don't think I caused it.
I don't think.
So my first real job was a movie usher.
Okay.
Yeah, very normal. What job?
I don't know. I mean,
like some circus freak or
no,
someone who
I don't know. Anyway, so
changes the cartridges on I don't know.
Boy,
movie usher though. I actually, that's interesting. I mean,
checks out.
It was fascinating. So you were talking about paying it forward. So the whole thing, when you used to see the movies, they'd have those big signs, for your convenience, trash cans are located at the exits. And there was a comedian at the time that made this whole joke about the exit's not convenient, the floor is convenient. And I picked up so much trash in the theater, so much trash. And I did not pay it forward. Well, I felt like I was paying it forward because I felt like I had a right for the next 3 years to throw trash on the floor.
Yeah.
I was
earlier when you were saying you were throwing some stuff out there and you're like, pick trash people throw on the floor. I'm like, what? That don't never remember picking up a lot of trash, and now it makes sense.
Oh, well, I'm sure it's Sonic. They would get done and put their tray on the and stuff would fly off.
Sure.
And so I'm sure you had to pick up trash there.
Did you? What was your perception of the usher job? Do you feel like it was? Because I remember I had a friend who worked at a movie theater, and we were like, "Oh, what? You get unlimited movies."
That should have been a crazy benefit. I only did it for one summer, and it should have been a crazy great benefit. I worked at an AMC. It was in town here in Houston. They only had 2 theaters. It was
like 2 screens.
Yeah, it wasn't AMC. It was Lowe's Sakowitz, because there was a Sakowitz building in the center, and you went down this really long double-story escalator down into the basement to the movie screens. And so they only had 2. The entire time I worked there were only 2 movies.
Oh my gosh.
Big Business with Bette Midler and Lily Tomlin and something else. Not very appreciated by a 16-year-old boy.
Wow.
Now we had privileges at other Lowe's, but they were all way, way out in the suburbs.
Oh,
and
you were
so
trapped.
it was so disappointing. The usher job, I mean, I understood it. I had to go clean trash. I had to take tickets. I gave popcorn, I sold popcorn. There was the cleaning that sucked. The thing that amazed me is how much stuff, because I would take tickets for them. There were only 2 theaters, right? So I could sit there, I could take the tickets, and then I'd go clean the theater, then take the tickets for the next show and so forth. So I'd take tickets, saw literally every single person that went into the theater. Then I'd go into the theater, and I kid you not, I found like a 20-piece bucket of chicken bones. But they brought in a 20-piece bucket of
You're like,
chicken from
"Where?"
KFC. How did they find? I mean, there was like a KFC cup. There were extra sides and all. And I'm like, how in the hell did I miss? And it was the summer, so it's not like they were wearing big trench coats or something.
Right.
And I missed it entirely when they
Wow.
were coming in. So I just learned that the general public is kind of sneaky.
Well, that's what it sound. I was gonna say that's what it sounds like, but it also sounds like you learned to pick your battles.
That's very interesting, because I knew I was there for a short term because it was just a summer job, and my parents were, and I had to travel a good distance to go to my school, so there wasn't really, and I played sports, so there wasn't any way I was going to be working during the school year. So I knew it was a finite time. We got into a little bit of trouble at times, like we would play baseball with the broom and trash and eat our own popcorn and so forth. But I watch other employees get really into it with the manager. And the manager was a nerdy guy. And again, in retrospect, I can look back and I'm like, this was his job. And like you said, working with 16-year-olds, what a terrible, terrible thing to do to any person. But he was very nerdy, and most of the things we did were harmless. I mean, when there was literally no one in the lobby and we were dead, we would be hitting something with a broom. Who cares? But my favorite thing probably of my entire professional career happened at that movie theater.
Oh.
It was the best quitting story I have ever seen in my life. And I dream one day of having a quitting story this good for myself. I dream.
Better happen soon.
I know. And it's really unfortunate. I was talking to my boss, Ashley, the other day. I was like, I really like her. But I can't have this great quitting story because it's so one of these other guys I think that he had been there for some time. He had been working before the summer and into the summer, and he and the manager did not get along as well. And we all kind of just ignored him, but he was going head to head all the time. So we had uniforms, and it was a full uniform with a vest, with like a clip-on tie. I mean, it was all polyester, all crap. And so they start getting into it, and they're in the lobby. And remember, we're 2 floors down, and there's escalators that go up. So they start getting into it, and they're yelling. So then the manager's like, I'm not listening to this anymore. So he heads over and gets on the escalator. Well, this other guy follows him and is still arguing. Halfway up the escalator, he goes, "You know what, Mike? This is your tie." And he pulls off the tie and throws it down. "And this is your vest." And he pulls off the vest and throws it down. "And these are your pants." And the pants come off. He walked out in nothing but his underwear.
Oh my gosh.
Out of the building.
This sounds like something from a Matthew Broderick movie.
It was so
Like,
good. I was like, oh,
we all
that
like
guy's right here.
clapping?
Slow clap, slow golf, amazing.
Wow.
Amazing.
Wow.
I love that guy. I don't know what happened to him.
It sounds
Yeah,
like
I think you should do that, Eric. I think you should do that.
I may do it without quitting.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, my 56, soon to be 56-year-old body versus my 16 will make it a real special event.
That's great.
I have been running at least.
James, lay it on us. What was your first job?
My first job was Little Caesars Pizza. It was
Nice.
a block, 2 blocks from my house. I was 16. I wasn't doing great in school, so I was like, I'm going to work, I had a blast, actually. I
Delivery or in the
No,
store?
it was all
in the store.
We didn't deliver. It was in the
Okay.
store. I became really good friends with a lot of people that worked there because there was a mix though. There were some older people, but a lot of kids.
Yeah.
There was a guy that was a couple years older than me at the high school.
Older being 21.
Well, no, he was like maybe a senior and I was a sophomore, right?
Oh, okay, okay.
But he was
Yeah.
still at the high school,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
there was a
yeah.
couple friends I met that.
Yeah, so
were my
nothing.
grade.
So not statutory kind of
No,
age differences.
he actually took me to my first strip club one night after
Jeez.
after work.
when you're
which
16.
was eye opening.
Yeah.
I was wow.
That would be an unconventional first place to have a job.
Yeah.
So, I worked a decent amount, right? I'd work after school some nights. I'd work on the weekends. I wasn't full time by any means, but that was back when you had to answer phones. People would call in their orders,
sure,
right?
sure.
And so phones were constantly ringing. I did everything. I cooked pizzas. We cleaned up. I worked the cash register sometimes.
Did you have when was the job the most fun? When it was slow and you were kidding around with people, or when it was kind of busy or slammed?
It was probably the most fun when it was slow or we were closed and we were doing the cleanup or prepping.
Because you're kind of just kidding around with your
when it was busy, I mean,
so
you're just going, right?
Yeah.
There was not much time to kid around.
Yeah. Did you have slow periods where you thought, will this ever end? Could somebody please just order extra cheese and come in here and do something?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a lot of mixed emotions during that time, but I do have a positive overall experience.
How long did that job last?
Probably like 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I worked there a long time.
Did you have multiple managers?
No, it was this one guy.
One guy.
And again, immigrant dude, no nonsense guy.
Yeah.
But there was lots of nonsense
But
going on.
Yes. Yeah.
And
well, and of course, no nonsense to a 16-year-old and no nonsense to a actual adult is very different.
Yes, I look back and I'm like, that had to be so hard. But I remember, like, we would screw up a lot, and he would just make us fix it, which probably wasn't the best thing to do because watching cost and things like that. Like, this fell on the ground, just use it.
Oh, interesting.
That's all that.
So did that?
Not all. I still eat Little Caesars to this day. So
Yeah. Well, that's a whole nother podcast. So was there a bit of? Was he on the scale of what do I want to say here? Did he push the boundary of acceptable?
No,
in
honestly,
other areas other than kind of, hey, 3-second rule?
I kind of remember him just in the background. He wasn't very vocal.
Uh-huh.
A man of few words.
Yeah.
Just like, so I don't have like a big memory of him, to be honest with you. So
well, he's here today.
yeah.
Oh God, that would have been awesome.
Got it.
Oh
We got
God,
it.
Roger, why did you not have that?
Why didn't I?
It would have been so awesome.
I know, it would have been perfect.
And this is
I
James's
wouldn't-
life.
I would not be mad at him if he hated me. Like, I love my kids, but I look at my 15-year-old and he's starting to work, and I'm like, God help whoever he works for. Like, and I hope they can whip him into some awareness. And
now on that point, and I'm just gonna explore this, and because we've been vocal about this, you said so. I think we both are in the attention deficit hyperactivity disorder like bucket, and I know for people in that situation, you must come up with coping mechanisms to get through education, to have processes for work and stuff. At the time, was that something that you were aware of? And do you think that having something that was a franchise that was regimented like that had any effect on understanding what work would be?
for sure, I mean, learning to go to work when I had to work, that was tough for me because I was very social. I liked hanging out with my friends. So having to do that. But as far as like the ADHD goes, I think that was good for me because there was a lot of interaction. You're using your hands, you're doing things. School was really tough because you're just sitting there, right?
Yeah.
So I liked that type of work. It was fun.
Well, moving your body is such an important thing. I think that is a great takeaway to learn at your first job, if you can actually keep it in mind, is that you can't always change what you're thinking, but you can always change what you're doing. And
Right.
being able to decide I need to move in some way, even and I would say this is something, because I know because I sit outside your office door and watch you.
His office, the window is right by the stairwell.
Yes.
So everyone coming in the building can peek in and see
Yeah.
what he's up to.
But I will say, I will go by your office and I will see you're popping out to do something, to move, to just stretch or whatever. And it's a coping skill, not a coping skill, but it's a great technique, I would say, to help you stay productive.
Well, I agree.
Get into your body.
I agree 100%. I have to. I brought in like a walking pad. Haven't used it yet, but we'll see.
Well, that's because it graduated from your wife's storage pad.
That's true. The one thing I think that stuck with me that I learned there too is, you have this perception of the world and how everything works. In your mind, you're like, everything just works perfectly like it should, right? And then when you get to peek behind the curtain and you see that everything's kind of a mess. Not everything, but like,
James, that is such a fascinating insight. It really is.
Yeah, you just it wakes you up.
It's tremendous. How many times have you had a conversation with somebody and you say, I don't know how the world even runs. How does the world even make it? Like, how have we not destroyed ourselves or not been able to feed ourselves or whatever? And it's such an interesting insight, because I think there's a real tremendously positive message in all that. And especially for local businesses and people trying stuff on their own, and the entrepreneur. And that can be, I'm changing jobs, I'm starting my own company, I'm doing a local business, whatever. It's that we can talk all we want about the statistics of how many restaurants fail and and how hard it is, and making finances and all that stuff. The reality is, stuff tends to work in the world, in the universe that we have today. Stuff tends to work. We are not and I'm not saying in Kyrgyzstan or some, country where but in the United States, in the free West, by and large, you're going to do all right.
Yeah, that's
and it doesn't matter that people are going to screw up and you don't have the perfect execution and you don't have everything and it's kind of a mess behind, and we're still printing out contracts by hand, or writing them up by hand and having somebody type them. And so it doesn't matter. We still make it. And I think the other thing is understanding that profit, that you need that margin for all that administrative stuff and so forth, and prices have to reflect it, is one of the most difficult things to internalize. I can't charge cost for a service.
I think that's a mistake I saw a lot of business owners make, is it cost me this much, add my profit, and there we go. But there's that gray area.
So much overhead. What happens when I have to redo a project? All of a sudden, everything's gone, right?
And it's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like nothing runs
What
perfect.
happens when I hire, instead of a 16-year-old kid, I hire somebody who's just not that good, and they make a mistake, and they're not as efficient as I would have been, and my plans are going wrong.
Do you pick them up off the floor and brush the dust off and say, this
No, I say, that's my tie, and I pull it off of them.
And those are my pants, sir.
Those are, if you take anything from this episode, it's those are my pants.
That was almost as cool. What's that movie where it's like, you're cool, like the guy quits or whatever? He's like,
well, that movie totally rings a bell, but there was also like the very first season of The Office, the second episode, Mike has to fire somebody, and it's a guy that never continues in the whole series, The Office, and he's fired in like the second or third episode, and at the end he says, Pam, Jim, blah blah blah, you guys, I'll be at Poor Richard's bar. The rest of you, go to hell.
That's awesome. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. Just had to.
Well, and that'll be one of our future episodes, is who
Eric leaves.
Who when we leave is who is FU, who is See you later.
You're cool.
You're
Yeah.
cool. All right. So remember, do it scared. If you're worried about, if you're stressed out about banana splits, just make the banana splits. 2, pay it forward. You never know what customer service person, though they've absorbed.
And cash it in.
And
So if you've been picking up trash for a summer, you get to throw it on the
get to
floor
throw
later.
it out. Embrace those street smarts. Who knows what people are smuggling in? You'll learn, and then you'll adjust, and you'll figure it out. Remember, everything is more of a mess than you think. Even the people at the top levels, they're probably just trying their best. And what was the last one we said?
It's things tend to work.
Things tend to work if you believe in yourself. Next time.